The EarthMC Economy, one of the most interesting parts of EarthMC, and the part that sets the server apart from anything I've ever seen while playing Minecraft, is had a player-run economy for its whole lifespan. Today I'm going to talk about the price inflation of valuable items, the effect of the player base on different aspects of the economy, the shop plugins the server has had, villagers, mining, selling, stock markets, and more. Me and my video team put a lot of time into this video and I'm really happy with it. So thanks for watching, subscribe, and I hope you enjoy. As the server has aged, so has the economy. When the server just started, the economy was raw and untested, with players rushing to start shops and capitalize on every market you could think of, before someone could take over that major part of the market. But because there was an overall low amount of everything, you had to spend more money to get that item. You could sell items for whatever price, as long as it was the best price on the market. It was all related to supply and demand. Supply and demand is something I've only ever seen on EarthMC, and just contributes to how realistic the economy is. If a lot of people want an item, the price of it goes down. You see this most prominently with things like armor, tools, and ore. Even though if you compare it to things like raw materials, it would be significantly more expensive. Because more people want that item, there's more of an incentive to lower your prices and get more customers in a very competitive market. So the prices of armor, tools, and ore were dropped, as well as mending books before villagers got disabled. And this really messes up the market to make it quite confusing to a first-time player. Because now as the server's been around for so long, the prices aren't getting higher. And especially for ores, inflation is most prominent, because people just keep getting more and more ores. But as I mentioned earlier, the prices are not getting higher at all. And because the server has been around for so long, the prices of non-mending god gear and tools have gotten obscenely low. But with other parts of the economy, the demand isn't as high, making a lower incentive to reduce price of mentioned item. Because of this, there are anomalies like at Madagascar, where you can get 8 blocks of diamonds for 1 gold, which is the same price as a stack of dirt. The same for stone and concrete. Now this is partially because of sign shops and their limitations, but it's not like people aren't buying these things. Things like smooth stone cost 1 gold for 48, which sign shops don't even mess with. The markets have gotten extremely messed up because of inflation, supply, and demand. And unlike real life, there's no way to control this. The markets have gotten extremely messed up because of inflation, supply, and demand. And unlike real life, there's no way to control this. In real life, you could artificially inflate the prices of things like armor, but in EarthMC, it doesn't work that way. The only way to even kind of affect it would be working internationally with the sort of United Nations to artificially reset the prices of these items. A kind of EarthMC Great Reset. I'm gonna be honest, such an idea would not be awful and actually sounds kind of cool. Nations would have to ban selling a certain item at their spawn for under a decided price, which technically could work. The glaring problem would be getting every nation to agree to this, which would be an extremely complex project. Even if you get almost every nation to agree, there's always going to be nations that won't do it. The only way to reach every nation would be to get someone who can speak out to the whole server to organize it. And I've just realized what's going on here. Yeah, I may or may not have an idea. But yeah, all jokes aside, the only way to even kind of fix inflation is a massive uniting of nations, which would be a valuable option and totally something I can do. The only way to make it run for long enough is to make it very hands-off, just an area to help nations communicate with each other. You'd have to make sure you weren't getting involved in too many wars because there would always be disagreements. I'd say it would have to be about 90% economic. But aside from that, the only real way to fix this is resetting the server entirely. Fix please, I'm begging you. I can get a non-mending silk touch god pickaxe for the same price it would take me to build a luxurious dirt house. This is absolutely insane. When I said in the beginning that the economy of EarthMC, and especially its community, is like nothing I've ever seen on Minecraft, there's a reason for that. There's only a certain kind of community that can make something like this work so well, which is why it is unsurprising that it works for EarthMC. It makes sense when you think about what kind of a server EarthMC is. When you see it on the server list, it's advertised as a geopolitical sandbox server. People will see this and think, yeah, that could be cool and I'll join. Someone who joins EarthMC is going to be interested in geography and politics, instead of mini games and Skyblock like a lot of the Minecraft community. This brings a different kind of person, someone on average older than the usual Minecraft player. People who are interested in these topics are also most likely interested in economics, so they're going to be more interested in the economy of the server, which is why it works like this. Now with this, you'd usually expect a more civilized and smart community, which is why it's so weird that 75% of EarthMC players are dumb as crap and have a freaking mush brain. The stupidity of average EarthMC players affects the server economy. It's almost impossible to have any kind of monopoly on EarthMC without being online all day every day, because EarthMC players won't wait to get a better price on an item. They'll just buy the best price from someone who's currently online selling that item. You can't have a monopoly on god armor business, even if you sell them for significantly less than anyone else. Players are impatient, so they'll ask if anybody's online selling god armor, and they'll just buy the cheapest armor right at that second. Impatience influences a lot of the general atmosphere of EarthMC. It makes it much easier for anyone to start a shop, as long as you're selling something in high demand, and sell it for a decent price. But this community doesn't only come with impatience. The player base also comes with more more wars. Players who are fully into making as much money as possible can use this to their advantage. If you're smart enough, you can target nations in war and sell god gear in bulk to both or one side. So most of the time, such shops hope more wars will come so that they can make more money as possible out of this, which very obviously works. You can make a lot by targeting the right people at the right time if you're strategic enough. Villagers used to be a massive part of the economy. You could get any kind of book you want, including most importantly mending. Because of this, the price of all god gear went way lower than it was meant to be. Shop owners would just get the best villagers possible, making it insanely cheap to produce and sell all kinds of enchanted gear. And the staff team, seeing this, alongside inflation, tried to fix it. On May 24th, 2020, the EarthMC staff, in their infinite wisdom, made the controversial decision to disable all villager trading. This update hit the server like the Cup song hit every girl on the internet in 2012, instantly devastating the economy and bringing almost all trade to a standstill for a day or two while players were trying to figure out what was going on. A statement was given by Fix that trading will be re-enabled in a month, and here we are 14 months later with no trading. Another lie by the mainstream media. Reasons for trading ban were reported by the staff to be due to inflation of endgame items like mending. This makes sense as there was a bug that allowed villagers to trade without a normal cooldown. Players could trade indefinitely without having to wait for a villager to restock. This bug was exploited by many players, notably by NS, who, using a villager with a very good trade, turned 1 gold of emeralds into nearly 6 mending books, valued today at around 200 gold. This was abused by many nations and players, with several thousand mending books coming just out of Minnesota. While mending was obviously the most abused, other items like ender pearls, high enchant level tools, armor, and even using massive auto farms and farming villagers to get thousands of emeralds to use for trading of other items. 2 months ago, on May 10th, merchants were added, spawning at a selected few large nation spawn, locking the prices of many items at a set number determined by the staff team. This is another instance of the staff team attempting to artificially control the economy, which was technically successful, but didn't have much favor throughout the community. Fix has said before that some items should be rare and expensive, and this seems to be his way of adding items to that rare and expensive roster. It can be assumed that normal villager trading will never be re-enabled on EarthMC. There's always been a bit of a divide between the two ways of getting gold, these two being mining and selling. They are mostly known as the main two ways people get gold, mining being more grindy for those who want to get rich quick, and selling for those who want to make money while having fun doing it. So I wanted to go over the pros and cons of each way to get money, and decide which I think you should do. Mining gets more money. That's the main reason people do it over selling. If you get a god pickaxe and haste, and mine for 5 hours, you can make around 1,000 gold in just one day. If you haven't mined before, this sounds absurd, but it's a very quick way to get a lot of gold and fast. Selling is less work. A lot of the time, people using selling to get gold, even though they aren't making it as fast, also have more time to do other stuff. And it's a lot less grindy. It's also a lot more fun to sell for a lot of people if they're interested in economics of EarthMC. Mining is very lifeless. That's the main problem with mining. It's so depressing and long. Sure, you're making a lot of gold, but you're also not having fun doing it. You mine for 5 hours, and you aren't coming out of those 5 hours happier than when you started. You're coming out sad and exhausted. Maybe you'll make back your lost happiness with that gold, but I don't really think so. At least it's very unlikely. Selling doesn't make as much money. The argument everybody gives for why mining is better is it makes more money. Sure, if you sell the right stuff, you can get rich off of selling, but it won't be as quick or as efficient. It will take more time and effort. Even if you're selling mending gear for 50 gold a pop, there will only be so many people who want to buy it that day. So which one's better, mining or selling? Well, for playing EarthMC for this long, I think selling is the superior way to make money. You have to be smart and know what you're doing, but it's more fulfilling. I believe you really need to get a life if you mine for longer than half an hour at a time. But then again, I'm poor and a lot of people are not. Sign shops have been an up and down topic during all of Terra Nova history. They've decided the economy and how it works. Sign shops force people to improvise and adapt to whatever circumstances they're met with. As far as I can tell, with the release of Terra Nova, the first shop plugin was released, the one I'm familiar with, as well as most old players. That one notably gave you the ability to sell more than one stack of an item per gold, making it easier to sell things like dirt and stone in bulk. But after a while of that chest shop plugin working fine, it suddenly broke. Sign shops were then removed, and mods unsuccessfully tried to fix it. While the chest shops were gone, EarthMC players were forced to find a new way to sell items, using mostly Discord shops as well as just trading in chat. Chest shops were added again for a short time, but quickly broke again, being disabled once more. This happened a lot throughout the middle area of EarthMC. At this point, some players tried to create vending machine type things for selling items, where you throw gold into a hopper and it then spits out the item you're trying to buy. This seemed like a good idea, but there were issues with making people actually trust that the machine won't just scam them. Over the time, the EarthMC economy was was simply not as electric. There wasn't much going on, and it sat there quite dormant. Not a great time to be interested in the EarthMC economy. But after a long wait, there was a large update that came to EarthMC, adding chess shops as well as trading player-to-player mechanic. This was a new chess shop plugin, obviously meaning they can never figure out the last one. New chess shops came with the revival of the economy and excited a lot of the community who had missed working chess shops for a long time. But this came with some glaring problems. The main problem being that you can't actually sell more than 64 of any item for 1 gold. Another instance of the economy being artificially deflated, messing up prices for items like dirt, stone, sand, and concrete. Because of this, when using chess shops, 1 diamond can be bought for less gold than 1 dirt sometimes. Another problem being the pay-to-win feature for premium players. Normally, you can only use a single chest as a chest shop. You can't use double chests to sell items, but if you spend $8 a month on the premium rank, it allows you to sell from double chests. Now, I have to be honest, I don't really mind this feature. I understand that Fix is not a wealthy person and needs reasons for people to spend money on the server, but I can also see why it would be frowned upon by most members of the community. Another minor problem is that you can't break chests without it asking you to sell whatever item you have in hand. It's not a big deal, but it's a bit of an inconvenience. And the final and much worse problem is that you can't break other people's chest shops, not in your own land nor in the wild. Wherever a chest shop is placed, it can't be removed without help from a moderator, even if players' data has expired and they no longer play the server. Chest shops have always been a cornerstone of the EarthMC community and are required to have a sustainable and working economy. The way the EarthMC economy works, with political nerds and geography nerds. A stock market is another thing most people would think of while playing the server. I personally really wish there's a running stock market at the moment, but for some reason there isn't. Why so? Well, first of all, I have to generally explain what stock would be. A player would pay an amount of gold to invest in a company, and they would then get a percent of that company's revenue, depending on how many stocks they bought. They could then sell that stock back to the company for overall how much it's worth. But the main problem with stock markets is basically laziness. Anyone who's tried investing in a company on EarthMC knows how bad this idea is in reality, because almost every time, the initial hype about it putters off, and nobody ends up getting any money. It's an especially bad idea to invest in a new company who hasn't proven that they can regularly make money. Almost every time, you won't get your money back. Now about international stock markets for multiple companies. This has been tried many times by many different people, and again it's the same old theme. There's an initial hype from the start, but the stock market just putters off and nobody gets their money. It requires every company to report their earnings every week, which doesn't happen most of the time. This is another thing that can definitely work, but just hasn't gotten its full potential. Now, how would it work? Well, it would have to be a team of around 4 companies coming together to have a small stock market. All of these companies would have to regularly make gold, so it's worth it for people to invest. They would then have to slowly add active companies, and make sure you never get too many. End at around 6 or 7 companies that are all active. All the CEOs would have to understand what is going on and work together to keep it up. They would also need to assure the customers it's a good idea to invest. Maybe the customers wouldn't have to pay until their first week's check is ready, and they'll know they'll get it. But anyways, there's a lot of ways this could be done. It requires the right people running it, which is yet to happen. Biggest marketplaces are basically related to most populated towns and nations on the server. Europe, East and West Coasts of America, and Eastern Australia have the highest density, so the highest demand. As well as that, a lot of the time shop locations are related to the type of stuff they sell. Blocks like ice can easily be found on the North Pole, and other places. Terracotta near the Grand Canyon or in Australia. Shops are also related to active PvP nations and areas, such as Israel, Egypt, and Asia. But anyways, I'm going to talk about the biggest companies on EarthMC. The first one I want to talk about is 3M. This one is most notable because it's not state-run at the moment, and it operates independently. A lot of their sales come from god armor and tools. For example, they sell non-mending god armor for 16 gold a set, and non-mending gold swords for 8 gold. God pickaxe go for 3 gold, with silk touch and fortune. They have been in operation for about 1.5 years, over time evolving from selling just stuff like diamonds, redstone, coal, and iron, to enchanted books, to now selling enchanted tools and armor. One of the few companies selling armor and tools through Discord, they found themselves a monopoly on these items. 3M is good, and you should buy all of their items. Their Discord's in the description. I do encourage you to go check them out. The second one I want to talk about is a revenue-making machine. If you've played EarthMC, you've probably bought something from Poppy Kai's shop, just northeast of the Madagascar end spawn. It's the first one you see when you go to this shopping hub of EarthMC. They sell mending god tools, as well as raw materials like flour, dirt, stone, bricks, sapling, leather, and enchanted books. The mending diamond pickaxe go for 58 gold, with mending diamond swords going for 65 gold each. It costs 16 gold extra to get loot waiting for your diamond sword. Yes, these prices are not ideal, and you could get something significantly cheaper in other places. But Poppykai still gets a lot of gold, mostly because of the spot he's in. It's considered one of, if not the best real estate on EarthMC. The third company I'd like to talk about is American Airlines. This is a very interesting company, unlike the first two. No, it does not sell items or god stuff. It's an airline company. They operate slime block planes and travel across the world. No, I have no clue how this works, but apparently it does. The Discord has 180 members, for goodness sake. They have 10 airports spread across 5 different continents. They are the biggest airline on EarthMC, which is not a surprise, I should say. It's 5 gold per 10 miles, and oh my goodness, this is really insane. Guys, you can get another free flight if you fly 500 miles. This is a steal. Yes, after looking through the Discord, I've decided this is a real thing, and it's very cool. Another very interesting one is Cowboy Services, a recruiting agency run by Conman. They'll join your town and invite people to your town for 8 gold per person. This is a hefty price, but large nations are willing to pay it to gain residence for things like claim bonus. There are a lot of other large companies, but these are a few interesting ones. So yeah, that's the EarthMC Economy. By far one of the most interesting parts of the server, which is why it took me so long to make this video. I've had this idea for a while, but it just goes so deep, and I'm sure there's enough content for another video. So comment down below if there's any other parts of EarthMC Economy you'd like me to talk about. And if this video does well, I'll make a part 2. This video was super long and took me a while to make, so if you enjoy it, please subscribe. It means a lot, and it would be really nice if the time we spent making this video pays off. Make sure to join the Discord. Thank you all very much for watching. Guest Golly, I hope you enjoyed it. Toothbrush.